Hello and welcome to the programme. This week we keep a close eye on the Easter Cup at Shelburne Park, the Produce Stakes at Thurles, and we take a trip to County Tipperary to welcome back recently returned trainer Owen McKenna. But first we join Michael Fortune.
We start this week's programme with a look back at the final of the Greyhound View on-race stake at Harold's Cross. 6 very promising puppies in contention, one of them, would you believe, owned by the missus.
Number 1 is Larkhill Lotto, this one owned in partnership by Carol Carroll and Sandra Buckfields from England, trained by Seamus Graham, the first of Seamus's 3 runners, and the likely favourite, this one, a son of Vintage Prince and Westmead Flight. 2 is Top Expert, owned by Vera Murphy from County Laois, trained by Ger McKenna. Top Expert, a son of Top Honcho and Quare Season. Number 3 is Oakview Flyer, owned and trained by Paddy McIntyre from County Cavan. Oakview Flyer is a bitch, a daughter of Hilltown and Ardna Lee Pal. 4 is Tom's Bluebell, this one the second of Seamus Graham's 3 runners. Seamus owns this one himself, and Tom's Bluebell, a dog by Tom's the Best out of Mary Bluebell. There we see number 5, this is Spoken For, the third of Seamus Graham's 3 runners. This one is owned by Mrs. Rita Fortune from Dublin, and Spoken For, a son of Knock Even Star and Droopy's Graph, likely to be the kennel's 2nd string. And finally number 6, Circle of Friends, owned and trained by Brendan Call and Michael Kavanagh of Dublin, and Circle of Friends, this one a bitch, a daughter of Larkhill Joe and Clacton Miss. And the bell sounds, the hare on its way, and the runners once again for the final of the Greyhound View unraced 525. In 1 is the red hot favourite Larkhill Lotto, 2 Top Expert, 3 is Oakview Flyer, 4 is Tom's Bluebell, 5 is Spoken For, and in 6, Circle of Friends. And that's it, away they go, and in 2, Top Expert got a flyer. The favourite was left in the boxes. Top Expert races to the first bend in front. Round in second is Larkhill Lotto in 1. They're being followed by Oakview Flyer, with trying to make ground on the inside, then Tom's Bluebell. But down the far side they go, and now the favourite goes to the front, Larkhill Lotto. But Top Expert fights back on the inside. They're being followed by Tom's Bluebell as they head towards the second last bend. The favourite now just going on. Larkhill Lotto takes the lead, with on the inside Top Expert battling back. Top Expert on the inside, staying on strongly to win it. Top Expert wins it, beating in second place the favourite number 1, Larkhill Lotto. And confirmation of the result coming through, 2-1-3 the result. Top Expert the winner for Vera Murphy, and Ger McKenna the winning time, 29:14.
Well, we've had a tremendously exciting final, and Top Expert putting in a top-class performance, winning. Looking at one stage he might be beaten, but he came through bravely at the end to land the spoils. Ger McKenna, trainer. Ger, a very fine performance from the
Thank you very much. Thank you. I always knew when I got him at first he was going to be a real good pup, you know. And I think there's a lot more left in him. You'll read a lot about him this year, I'd imagine so anyway, you know.
From here, what would you be thinking of?
I don't know, to be honest with you. It's he's very young yet, you know what I mean. I don't want to be spoiling him. I'd imagine the puppy derby, hopefully. You know?
In the long term, but you won't be going too hard on him, obviously.
No. We always take them handy.
Well, Joe, Don and Vera, a great winner for you. Tell me a little bit about the dog.
Thank you very much indeed. We bought him from Hugh Maguire in Fermanagh as a pup, and we reared him at home ourselves on our own farm. And he was he was a nice little dog always, and Ger has done tremendous work for us for our dogs over the past few years, and we decided we'd give this one to Ger as well. And he certainly exceeded all our expectations, because he certainly turned himself into a very, very good greyhound, even at this early stage. Ger had said to me earlier on, the night he won here at 29:30, I was delighted. It was over the moon. And Ger had said, there's more in him, and he was right.
The BCR Press Easter Cup has long been established as one of the great classic trials in Ireland. It has been won by some of the great greyhounds, a number of them who have gone on to win the English Derby in the same year. Let's look back on the past 2 finals and 2 remarkable performances, starting with Mr. Boz in 2000 and of course a certain Late Late Show last year. The hare now behind the traps. Mr. Boz on the inside, he's away quite well, but it's Scaldy Sayre out well. But Mr. Boz now going clear to the bend with number 4, Vintage Nose, showing great early pace around the first bend. Mr. Boz in front, Vintage Nose is second, number 2, Kishlon Gold is third, and these are in command down the back with Tearaway Prince in fourth. But it's Mr. Boz holding Vintage Nose at this stage into the third bend, number 2, Kishlon Gold in third, and then Tearaway Prince onto the final bend. And it's number 1, Mr. Boz in front, number 2, Kishlon Gold, his kennel companion, coming with a big run now towards the line, but it's number 1, Mr. Boz, winning it in style, big early pace and taking the prize comfortably. The hare coming up behind the boxes. Late it's in 6. Marina's Tina in 3. Normally fast away. Out they go. Number 4 is the one, Brother Jim, and he cuts in and cuts off Marina's Tina. And it's number 1, Sporting Lazar, leading to the bend from Craigan Trade in 2nd. And there's Late on the outside into the Max Straight. Number 1, Sporting Lazar, but Late Show showing great pace up the outside. Marina's Tina making ground on the inside, a challenge into the 3rd bend. But it's Late Show gone clear around the final bend now. Late Show, and he's pulling away Marina's Tina in 2nd. Kishlon Gold out at the rear this time, but up to the line, and it's Late Show pulling right away to win from Marina's Tina. Well, we've seen the champions of the recent past. Now let's look at the 2002 version. Starting with the semi-finals last weekend, and in the second semi-final, Late Show was in action.
The runners for the first semi-final. In 1 is Whiteford Fraser, 2 is Manic Street, 3 Moving Customer, 4 is Marnoak Celt, 5 Pullover Honcho, and on the outside in the stripes is the favourite Athboy Vintage. Hare just coming up behind the traps, and that's it, they're away. A fairly even break with on the near side. Athboy Vintage headed into the turn by number 1 Whiteford Fraser, who's around in front, 2 lengths clear of number 6 Athboy Vintage. Back in 3rd is number 2 Manic Street as they head on down the far side. Whiteford Fraser 2 lengths in front of Athboy Vintage. This pair are clear of number 2 Manic Street, with staying on Pullover Honcho as they head towards the second last bend. Whiteford Fraser, number 1, pressed on the outside now by number 6 Athboy Vintage, who's closing him down all the time as they straighten up for home. It's number 1 Whiteford Fraser, collared on the outside by number 3 Moving Customer, who's come from absolutely nowhere to win it. And the result of the first semi-final, win for number 3 Moving Customer. Second was number 6 Athboy Vintage, and also going through to the final in 3rd, number 1 Whiteford Fraser. The winning time 29:02. Well, the runners loading up quickly now for the second semi-final. Shouldn't be too much longer before we're underway. All in. All set then for the second semi-final of the Easter Cup, and the runners as follows. In 1 is Word of God, number 2 is Fairy Man, 3 the favourite Late Show, 4 is Vera's Rovey, 5 is Top of the Best, and widest of all in the stripes is Barefoot Joe. They race away then, and in 5 Top of the Best came away well with number 1 Word of God in between them, number 2 Fairy Man as they head into the first turn. Vera's Rovey some way behind, in trouble there. 5, 6 and 4 have dropped to the rear as they head down the far side. Number 1 Word of God pressed by 2 Fairy Man. Now Late Show moves up on the inside and will shortly be bidding for the lead. It's number 1 Word of God, 3 Late Show in second, then comes number 2 Fairy Man. These 3 have it between them, clear of the rest, straightening up for home, and it's number 1 Word of God with Late Show challenging on the near side, but he's not going to get there. Number 1 Word of God wins it from number 3 Late Show in second. Back in 3rd was number 2 Fairy Man. Confirmation then of the result of the second semi-final of the Easter Cup. A win for number 1 Word of God, second the favourite number 3 Late Show, and back in 3rd was number 2 Fairy Man. The winning time 28:82.
And the trap draw for the final resulted in trap 1 Word of God, 2 Whiteford Fraser, 3 Athboy Vintage, 4 Fairy Man, 5 Moving Customer, and 6 Late Show.
I'm delighted with the trap draw. I mean, that's his box. He's been finding it difficult running from the middle. The gaps didn't come tonight, and Matt's dog ran a cracker. In fairness, 28:80 tonight is a good run.
Was everything okay with him in the days coming up to the final?
He was all right. I mean, everything didn't go as sweet as we'd like to, but you get weeks like that. Some weeks are better than others. Last week wasn't one of our better weeks with him again, but I mean, he's survived. He's there. He's only beaten ahead in 28:80. I'm very happy. I couldn't be happier if he did 28:60, Michael. Does that answer your question?
You must be pretty happy with Moving Customer as well.
Ah, yeah, it's great crack. Actually, we only put him in this for the sport of it, to keep him fit for the likes of the Corn Cuchulainn and races like that, and it's great. I mean, it's great for the owners, it's great for ourselves, and he's a really enjoyable dog, you know, and he got a great cheer when he crossed the line in front. A lot of people like him. He runs something similar to the Late Show as well, and you know, if you're backing him for serious money, I mean, you'd be broke, but like, you know, he's good fun, he's good crack, and he's there on merit. He hasn't much to find in the clock either. And the way he comes home, he's in there with a big chance of the frame as well. Serious. I mean, you know, all the 6 dogs, there's not a lot between them on the clock. I mean, even on tonight's runs, their previous form is all good. You know what I mean? That way Vintage is 28:80 done around here as well, so it's nothing new to him to do good runs. And it's all to play for. I know Kilkenny men are pretty cocky and they don't regard anything as dangerous, but what would you pick out as your danger in the final? The Late not getting a run, Mike.
What price late show?
I think he'll be about 4 to 6. He's ideally drawn in 6. There's a slow dog in 5, and he could even lead around the first bend.
Lead Whiteford Fraser around the corner, you reckon?
Well, he maybe not, but he'd pick him off no problem. He'd have no problem picking him off. The dog with a small chance in it is probably trap 1. He's also well drawn. But I would have to say the late show will be definitely odds on. Probably 4 to 6.
And probably even hotter.
Well, I took a chance on late in tonight. I don't think I'll be taking a chance next Saturday night.
What would be second favourite, do you reckon?
I think they'll probably bet 7 to top, 20 to 1 to 2 dog, 7 to 1 to 3 dog, 25 to 1 to 4 dog, 8 to 1 moving customer, and about 4 to 6 the late show.
What happened to hair, Kevin?
Oh, I got all shaved off today.
Was that for good luck, was it?
I don't know.
We always watch to see which one you lead. Which are you going to lead?
Probably late show.
You wouldn't be afraid the dog will pull his way out of your hands or anything like that?
No, he's just walks wherever you walk.
And what will happen in the race?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
No, he'll let you give us a tip for this one. What do you fancy for the final?
Probably late show.
Join us in part 2 when we talk to Owen McKenna, son of legendary trainer Ger, and we look back at the hotly contested heats of the Produce Stakes. On his recent return from England, the sleepy village of Ballyclarahan in County Tipperary was where Owen McKenna, with his wife Sian and son Kieran, decided to call home. Not surprisingly, Owen's introduction to greyhounds began as a youngster.
From a very early age, as soon as I could walk, I was in the kennels all the time. I suppose I was shoved a brush in my hand to sweep out the kennels straight away. I was more time in the kennels than I was at school. I always loved the dogs, loved going racing. My father was probably one of the top trainers around at the time, probably one of the best there has been. And I always wanted to follow in his footsteps, but there's been ups and downs, and there is ups and downs in this game, but I love the dogs, so it's the only thing I think I'm good at, so it's the only thing I know what to do.
Owen got a taste of the English style of greyhound racing during his frequent visits to the UK, where he often accompanied his father as a child.
I like to set up the way of racing over there, and I suppose the dogs weren't going as well in Ireland at the time, and I said I'd like to give it a go.
His eventual involvement in the English greyhound scene came about after an unfortunate accident.
I was working for a landscaping firm, and actually I was working there when I got married. I met my wife actually going over to the Derby. That's how we met. I came back shortly after getting married. I came back for a weekend in Ireland and broke my ankle. So while I was laid up, I just decided I had to get back into the dogs. So we both went to work for Linda Jones, who trains in Walthamstow, and we were there for 6 or 7 months, and I just decided to have a go. I got my own licence, and it's gone well since that, really.
Regardless of his success across the water, Owen's dream was to return home, to Ireland.
It was always my intention to come back to Ireland, sometime. And I thought the opportunity was there and the time was right. So, I said I'd have a go at it, and we came over and had a look around, and I didn't want to go back. So, no, it's a lovely setup here. It's very quiet and peaceful, and it's well located. And as I say, just keep the numbers of dogs down and try and do them a little bit better. We have 15 or 16 dogs here now, and it's just, you can do the dogs properly. Like, I'm not saying you don't do them properly in England, but they have more time to concentrate and do more with the dogs. It's a better way of life, and race probably 2 or 3 nights a week, and be more time to yourself and family life.
In order to give his dogs that special attention, Owen relies greatly on his right-hand man.
Johnny Halloran, he comes in, and he's a good help, so without him, I'd be a bit stuck. But my wife Sian, she helps out as much as she can, but she's got the little fella now, Kieran, and he's a bit of a handful, so he can only do so much. But we're having a good run, so it's good.
Being Being the son of such a racing legend, Owen had the perfect introduction to the game through his father, Ger.
My dad, he really packed in the game at the end of the year, beginning of January. He's done it all. He's been there, done that. Like, he's up for over 50 years. Now, he comes racing with me regularly now and still has an interest in the dogs, and actually he gave me down a few nice dogs when he retired. Good little dog for Father Dalton, a good owner of his in America. Deerfield Chad, he won a competition last week in Waterford. He done a good run, 28.57, and lightly raced. He's only had 6 races, and he looks like a dog that could be a good little dog, you know, later in the year. So we're hopeful for him, but no, he's at home. He's taking it easy, and like as I say, he's done it all before, so it's about time for him to take life easy.
The 3 McKenna runners in the Produce Stakes were expected to yield a good result for the kennels.
I've got Droopy's Agassi, who's a nice young dog. He's a July top honcho pup, who actually I own in partnership with David Miles. He started off in an unraced stake in Shelburne. He's very unlucky. He won the heat and semi-final and just got caught in the line in the final. He went on to Thurles then, and he won an open puppy stake just before the Produce Stakes. He clocked 29.23 in the semi-finals, and he beat Borna Dasher, another good dog in the Produce Stakes. Now, hopeful for him. As I say, he's lightly raced and he should improve later in the year. And I've got a very young dog, Farlow Style, which is only a September pup, which probably we entered at the last minute. He's only had 3 races before going into the Produce Stakes. He won an unraced competition in his 3rd race in Waterford. He looks very good. If he can get his trapping together, like, he looks like he could be very special altogether. And the 3rd dog is a dog that Wise Up Paddy. He was 2nd in the National Puppy Stake in Shelburne just before Christmas. And he's had a few injuries. First round of the Produce Stakes was his first race back now for a long time, and he's a dog that should be open to improvement. But I'm hopeful for him all, like, you know, it's just hope for the best.
Thurles is the venue tonight for the 2nd round of the Irish Stud, Dog Owners and Red Mills Produce Stakes. At the outset of the 2nd round, we have giant 5-1 favourites in Bypass Byway and Rebel Watcher, both of whom have beaten 29 seconds. This the opening heat. Ring Road Master 1, Luckhill Lord is 2, Knock Road Best is in 3, in 4 Dunsilly away. Night Leo runs in trap 5, and Borna Pilot is running from trap 6 as the hare comes towards traps, and it's a fairly even break. The blue jacket now, Luckhill Lord appearing fairly prominent on the rails and goes on to lead. It's Luckhill Lord that goes on from the white jacket of Knock Road Best. A couple of lengths now between the opening 2, and beginning to pull away. Down the back straight is Luckhill Lord. Ring Road Master beginning to improve at the 2nd bend from home, but Luckhill Lord is clear by 3 or 4 lengths at least and comes up towards the line to win comfortably from Knock Road Best. This is Heat 3 in 1, Hakuna's Masai, 2, Droopy's Hewitt, 3, Give and Go, Sail Away Jim running from trap 4, in 4, Rathmeehan Jet, and in 6 is the warm favourite here, Rebel Watcher. Here comes towards traps and they're racing. Droopy's Hewitt gets off to a very good break and goes into the bend. It's Droopy's Hewitt going on now, but moving along now is Give and Go that has forged in front. It's Give and Go by leading by a couple of lengths from Droopy's Hewitt now, who's beginning to close the 2nd bend from home. There's a great battle on here for the top position, and off the final turn it's Give and Go and Droopy's Hewitt going up towards the line. It's desperately close. Droopy's Hewitt has won. Hare moves away. Doris Icon is in 1, in 2 Pearl's Shadow, Vigorous Rex is in 3, Droopy's Agassi running from box 4, Jerpine Tinra is in 5, Borna Dasher is running in the striped jacket, and the hare is at the traps and they're away. Pearl's Shadow breaks well, as does Droopy's Agassi, and into the opening bend it's pretty close. Borna Dasher beginning to improve as well. Borna Dasher going on now in between dogs and down the back straight. It's Borna Dasher that has fashioned the lead now of 2 lengths or so from Droopy's Agassi. And off the final turn, it's Borna Dasher that shows in front and is going to win. Borna Dasher is going to win from Droopy's Agassi. Here has moved away and towards the traps. In 1, Easy Focus. 2, Kula Vani Pride. Knockrow Inish is in 3. Socket Paroshta is in 4. Swift Nikita is running from 5 and housed in box 6 is Alan Top. Here is at the traps and away smartly is Swift Nikita, and left behind is Socket Paroshta. Up front now and taking them along is a Kula Vani Pride in that blue jacket. And beginning to improve is Swift Nikita. Koulavani Pride's the favourite now, going on by 4 lengths. The second, Ben from home. It's the favourite, Koulavani Pride, looking to score here and off the final turn and down towards the line. Koulavani Pride is going to win from Alan Top. This is the final heat of the second round. In 1, Kilinan Buddy. 2, Rolo Key. Farlow Style is in 3. Mustang Messiah is housed in box 4. The strong favourite Bypass Byway is in 5, and Mustang Buster is in 6, and the traps rise and out very quick. Kilinan Buddy on the rails. Kilinan Buddy leads into that opening bend and being put under pressure now. Mustang Messiah moves into second, but going through, it's Mustang Buster that shows in front. From Kilinan Buddy into third, Mustang Messiah. But up front, it's Mustang Buster that's going on, being closely challenged by Kilinan Buddy. And heading for home now, though, is Mustang Buster.
Looking ahead now to the upcoming action on Friday at Harold's Cross. It's the first round of the Ball Sports Cool Cullen and the second round of the Cool Performance Tri-Distance. On Saturday at Shelburne Park, it's the final of the BCR Press Easter Cup. At Thurles, the third round of the Produce Stakes, and at Cork, it's the first round of the Goulding Chemical Cork Oaks. Then on Sunday at Cork, we have the National Greyhound Awards. That's held at Jury's Hotel. And then on Monday at Newbridge, it's the final of the Red Book Champion Novice Hurdle. So join us next week for the Easter Cup final, the third round of the Produce Stakes, and a look at the winners of the prestigious National Greyhound Awards. For further information on Irish Greyhound racing, ownership and syndication, visit our website at www.igb.ie or email us at admin@igb.ie.